Still, a lot of decision making is based on human judgment, not enough data. And that's what we focused on. People want to interact with businesses, but not via phone calls. So if you combine all of this, you have something called conversational AI. As you look beyond SMS, as you look at more deeper interactions between business and consumers, WhatsApp and channels like that are extremely useful. Sri Lanka continues to be an extremely promising market for us. We started off saying we want to disrupt and create digital business and value from digital. We continue to scale that, bring the best of innovation out there into Sri Lanka with data, AI, and digital, all three combined.
Hi everyone, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Srinivas Gattamneni, the CEO of ADA. Hi Srinivas, welcome. ADA is about 6 years old now, still toddler, finding its way through the world, but more focused towards data and AI now.
Yeah.
Walk us through this journey.
It's been an incredible journey. 6 years, very high growth in 12 countries, 1,500 people, phenomenal growth, born in the digital world, data and AI world. Came and hit us, of course, but we always had a focus on data and AI. We wanted to focus, how do we improve marketing and commerce through data and AI? We do a lot of work in that space today. 4 main business units. We actually help companies with data. We do their marketing, we do their commerce, and we do their customer engagement or business messaging. They say data is the new oil, and companies are looking to sort of utilize this to make a real impact. In the operations. And I watched one of the interviews where you say, the most important thing is the impact on operations from that. What are the main building blocks for a business to use data to create an impact? It starts with data first. Data foundations. How do we use that for analytics and business use? Start with prediction, but prediction only tells you what's happening. But you need suggestions, you need strategies. So it goes to prescription. Right? From prediction to prescription. But it's not very useful unless it's built, like you said, into operations, into business. And business is marketing, it's commerce, it's back office. So a lot of then energy goes into how do we extract value from this and apply in day-to-day decision making. Still, a lot of decision making is based on human judgment, not enough data. And that's what we focused on. We said, where are the 3 main areas where data and AI can be applied? And for that was marketing and commerce and customer service. These 3 domains create a phenomenal impact from usage of consumer data, from usage of market data for pricing decisions, inventory optimization. How do you interact with consumers? Who do you sell what to? Upsell, cross-sell, all sorts of decisions. And actually, if you see, the world has come quite far. Recently, there was a report from Accenture which measured how much AI influenced revenue is being created in the market across industries. On average, most industries is 10 to 30%. Certain industries is closer to 30, that's travel. Of course, in travel, what are you selling? You're selling experiences. Experiences is all about personalization. You might be a golfer, you might be into adventure travel, you might be a skier. How do I find that out? How do I use the data about you, show you content that's related to your type of travel? But all of that is not humanly possible on one-to-one marketing, and hence you have to use data and you have to use AI. But all of this, going back to your first question, how is it done? It is done through building your data foundations, using it for analytics, using it for decision making. And at the point of serving that particular service to you, there has to be decisions also made by data and AI in terms of what to show you, how to really trigger your mind to take a particular action, and how to actually get you to click that button and spend your money on. And that's all done today. At least 30% for many industries is AI influenced revenue. And you can see the amount of value that's being created in the system from that.
Interesting. You said something very interesting that I want to explore further. In our part of the world, and I'm talking about Southeast Asia, decision making at senior level is based on gut. And it's based on their experiences. But the world is too dynamic for that kind of relationships anymore. How did you convince your clients and obviously their senior management to go with data-driven decision making as opposed to their own feel and gut?
Yeah, if you saw 10 years ago, when you did a campaign or you did a marketing campaign, you would do typically a campaign once in a year, one major media push, one major big ad for that year, and then you would kind of use that across your traditional channels, your TV, your radio, etc. Then slowly in the last 10 years, clients moved to digital medium. In digital medium, what was the promise of digital? That you get to a market of one, right? How do you personalize? How do I get to you as a person, show you an ad according to your context, to your needs, and in your location where you are? Now that started to happen. So clients stopped doing this one big campaign, all their marketing budget on this one campaign, and started to break it into, say, monthly campaigns. Then they started to segment it further. Said, okay, this consumer group or this market segment is this campaign, this market segment is this campaign. And slowly it got into a micro level campaigning. And at that point, you cannot do it without data and hyper automation and AI being applied across the full funnel of the marketing and the commerce. So actually, it didn't require a lot of convincing. I think it's a natural evolution of the digital channels, which allowed for an ability to do this. Now, for example, when you do now an 11/11 campaign or a 9/9 campaign, that pricing decision is completely made by the machine at that point of time, how much promotion to give you and what price to charge you and that hour in order to decide. That's not actually humanly possible anymore. And hence you need AI and data systems as part of it.
Excellent. Interesting. I'm going to segue into Sri Lankan operations. Sri Lanka is an important market for you. You've been there since the very beginning of ADA as well. If I were to look at my own phone, then I get a report from where I've been, it's inevitable to see that a large part is dominated by messaging apps. Connect with family, friends, businesses are now connecting increasingly with, to customers. And I noticed that ADA is focusing on, business messaging, conversational AI in Sri Lanka. How do you see the impact for the local market? How do you see your involvement with it? And how do you see it evolving?
So we entered initially the Sri Lanka market on the back end of how do we leverage channels like SMS? How do we use data profiling in order to send the right SMS so we can avoid a lot of spam? How do you create a much more efficient channel for businesses to leverage channels like SMS? And of course, as you look beyond SMS, as you look at more deeper interactions between business and consumers, WhatsApp and channels like that are extremely useful. Now, I can't imagine a time when there was no WhatsApp. I mean, none of us could, right?
Exactly.
We spend a huge amount of time on WhatsApp. However, how much time do we spend interacting with businesses through WhatsApp is not there yet. And this is where businesses are waking up. They're waking up. How do they leverage the power of WhatsApp to solve some of the age-old customer experience problems? If you look at healthcare as an example, one thing I can guarantee universally we all dislike is the scheduling pre-treatment. The post-treatment follow-up is extremely poor. Feedback collection, once you get your treatment, how do someone follow up based on your reports, etc. All of this can be solved through channels like WhatsApp, right? For example, can I do better scheduling? Can I find which doctor do I want to attend? Emergency, can I share my location more conveniently rather than have to read out a whole address on a phone call? One thing I think as humans hate to do is make that phone call to a business.
Absolutely.
But we are very happy to open an app and start chatting. Now, while opening an app is something we're all very used to, but the fundamental problem with the app is that it's a very linear experience. The company had decided that this is the customer journey that you must follow. So you take those exactly the same steps to get there. And the minute it doesn't fit into yours, the app or the web experience breaks down.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where suddenly people are waking up. Chatbots. Now, the problem with chatbots until a couple of years ago is, again, they were very algorithmic and linear. Very quickly, you'll get frustrated with that experience. But then came something called ChatGPT and LLMs, an ability to start reasoning and doing natural language processing. So we thought, you've got the channel that consumers are in, and in Sri Lanka, there are 11 million consumers on WhatsApp using WhatsApp every day. You have the power of AI and LLMs in the hands of everybody. We know that people want to interact with businesses, but not via phone calls. So if you combine all of this, you have something called conversational AI, which is an ability to have a human-like interaction with a business and have natural language interactions between them, just the way we always wanted it to be, but in an economical way that it makes sense for the companies, not to operate massive call centers, but just to be able to do it through AI. And that's what we launched recently in in Sri Lanka as well, which is conversational AI-driven chatbots on WhatsApp. Now, every business can do their scheduling. If you're an insurance business, you can do your policy claims, you can do your policy extensions, all sorts of stuff. If you're in healthcare, you can do your scheduling, your feedback collection, all of that through chatbots. If you're into retail, your products, your promotions, your upsell, cross-sell options, warranty, or everything, like every possible interaction businesses can have with consumers can be done through chatbots.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I agree with you. I think WhatsApp is perhaps the most popular for its simplicity. Now, obviously, much more secure, and the fact that you know the person on the other end is also on the same kind of messaging app. What are the specific solutions that you have offered to Sri Lankan businesses that they have taken up, and how has the feedback been, particularly in terms of their ability to convert engagement into purchases, and then also follow up after sales and so many other things? And how has that journey been?
Yeah, generally we look at, we work with across 4 main industries, globally and in Sri Lanka. The first one is how do we work with retail, and how in retail it's all about either a product to be delivered, more product information, warranty about the product, pricing, discovery, etc. We work with telcos. With telcos, it's a lot on WhatsApp is about products, pricing, of course, top-ups, and how do you enable payment. Healthcare is another big one that I spoke about, scheduling, etc. And the last one is a lot to do with, generally, I would say all other businesses where there is like automotives or travel or anything to do with the product discovery. How do we enable all of that? So these are generally the 4 main industries that we've been working with. Typically, the outcomes that clients are looking for is twofold. Either it is, hey, I've got to drive more revenue out of this. So how can you enable with more cross-sell and upsell to my client bases? Mm-hmm. The second one is better customer experience. One thing universally, generally most clients suffer with is every call center has poor customer experience. How do you improve that through a human-like chatbot? So we've implemented solutions. For example, you will have a chatbot that's AI-driven, but an ability to bring a human agent in the minute the human agent is required. So it's all a very seamless interaction. You might be discussing with AI your requirements, but at some point AI can't handle that anymore. A human agent can quickly jump in, take over the conversation, and pass back to the AI agent to kind of finish the whole transaction. So these are innovations we've built in. The other big one for Sri Lanka is how do we build local language support, right? That's something that today solutions like ChatGPT can't handle. Yes. So we've built translational databases which translate automatically all your enterprise company data, feed it into ChatGPT or such solutions, and then get back the solution, get back the answer, translate it back. All of those local language support is something we built for the country as well, which is getting adopted for.
Excellent, because we're a country that had a war over language and stuff like that. So I think providing that is a real game changer. So kudos to you guys for doing that. I think the other big buzzword around is conversational AI, and also doing it with a partner and that is trusted. And I think that's very important. So many AI offerings out there. Tell us about ADA's Copilot for conversational AI and how it is changing, interactions between businesses and their consumers.
Yeah. So the Copilot for conversational AI is ability to create a chatbot as quickly as possible. So one of the challenges that chatbots previously have had is that it takes a long time for companies to come up with, okay, all the algorithm behind the chatbot, right? Which is, okay, if the consumer says this, do this. If the consumer says this, do this. That whole algorithm gets very clunky. We solve that by creating drag and drop solutions. So you can literally pull together and create that whole chat algorithm very fast. The second thing is, quite often, there is a lot of enterprise data, product information, your brand guidelines that companies have, etc. How do you make sure this chatbot is now adhering to those guidelines and that type of product information? So we created drag and drop solutions where you can feed all your enterprise data into this and leverage the power of LLMs. And very quickly, you're able to create a seamless chat interface. The second big, I think, requirement for folks is information security, right? Data privacy, I'm sure it's a hot topic in Sri Lanka as it is everywhere else. Not just data privacy, also leveraging ethical AI. So we've, of course, certified our solutions against the latest information security standards like ISO 27001. How do you protect the whole system from cyber attacks as well as make the whole data private? Compliant. So we've solved for a lot of problems that naturally enterprises will face as they put these out in the open market.
Excellent. We actually a new Data Protection Act is coming into force in a few months from now. So I think companies that want to be ready for it need to work with partners who prioritize information security as a key part of their platform. Y'all are also into another core area, which is BSP services. And I think businesses, when they look at what's going on in the world, the volatility out there, really do need a really good partner in terms of that. How does ADA ensure security, reliability for the businesses that they partner with?
We are governed from multiple angles. We are governed by, of course, Meta or WhatsApp, who actually give us the license to operate a WhatsApp business solution, around their platforms. So every time we connect them into their APIs, etc., we are governed by their stringent requirements. We go and get ourselves, of course, certified, like I just mentioned, on information security, etc. But I think a third thing is we're a global player. We are working across 12 countries, many different industries, and very large-scale enterprises. And we are able to bring the best of all of this into one single market like Sri Lanka, right? Which is, we are able to learn from all these different interactions, from the solutions having been deployed. To me, that's actually the best, because, hey, it's not just one country's data privacy I need to focus on. I need to focus on 12. And my platform becomes more robust. And we don't create different platforms in different markets. So you end up following the country with the strictest one, naturally, right? And then, of course, following that. And that's something that I think differentiates us.
Interesting. Any enterprise, but particularly one that is so based on digital and technology, owes its success to its people. Effectively, I mean, that is the enterprise, right? The technology is merely an enabler. Tell me more about your investment in your people across all the 12 countries that you mentioned, and also cross-cultural learnings, which I think is very, very important. That particularly business siloed only, for example, in Sri Lanka, may not have access to that kind of learning. Yeah. Please tell us about that aspect as well.
Yeah, so I think earlier I mentioned we have about 1,500 people across 12 countries. What's extremely unique is the mix of this talent. And when we started ADA, one of the core things that we wanted to focus was integrating people from very different walks of life, very different genders, from very different cultures, but not just that, very different industries. So we have folks at ADA from media agencies, from creative, from technology companies, from deep data and analytics, data scientists, etc. So it's quite an interesting eclectic mix of very different talent pools that are co-creating something unique to disrupt the market. And I would say that's actually is our strength, to be honest, and our competitive differentiation. So we were able to pull this all together because we found that only when you put together the digital operators, i.e. kind of your digital marketeers, etc., your deep data folks and your technologists all together, are you able to really drive business value? Because quite often what was happening with most companies is they would go to just a data firm, get some data, etc. Then they'll go to a systems or a technology or a SI, system integrator, get their technology done. But the business was not seeing value out of it because not enough thought was going into the data design, how the data is being integrated from a business use case point of view. So we always start with what's the business use case? How do we then break down that into technology solutions as well as data solutions to deliver that? So that's quite unique for us. We do the digital operations for clients, we do their technology platforms, and we do their data and AI platforms, all with the promise of being outcome driven, i.e. create business value, either the top line or bottom line. Somewhere you have to create value for them.
Interesting. I heard this story about McKinsey, but I hope it may apply to you all as well. They say that a McKinsey employee anywhere in the world can simply walk into another office and they work as if there is no change at all. So culture is very important. Creating uniformity across your operations globally. How have you focused on culture? What dividends has it paid off? And where do you see it going in the future?
Yeah, cultures, of course, every CEO will say this. Culture, it's strategy for lunch, breakfast, dinner, everything, right? And of course, no different point of view here, right? For us, the culture is deeply ingrained into our business. If you think about what business are we in? We're in a business that is constantly disrupted via new digital, new technology solutions. So naturally, in a situation like that, we always remind ourselves, what is the half-life of our knowledge? To be honest, half-life of our knowledge across the company is probably 2 years. So in 2 years, only half of our knowledge is relevant. So the only option we have is to keep replenishing that. So we have a huge culture of growth mindset. That's why over the last 6 years, AD has really adapted and created new innovative solutions. So to me, ADA is an amazing mix of promise and innovation. Second one is, we spoke earlier about different diversity, right? Diversity is great to have, but it's not very useful if people are not collaborating with each other. So you can have very diverse segments, but if they're not working with each other, frankly, it's not worth it. So for us, collaboration across the different businesses, different countries, different industry segments is extremely important. And that's how we are able to cross-pollinate our innovation across. The third one is, we might seem relatively big, but we're always fighting a bigger giant out there, right? It's always a David versus Goliath story for us. So if we are fighting big giants, we need to have a very high performance mindset. So really, boiled down to, I would say, our culture, if I were to boil it down, it's three things. It's growth mindset, it's collaboration, and it's high performance.
Excellent. The toddler is now 6 years. It's walking, running, finding its feet. What is the future long-term vision of the company, and where do you want to see it going?
Yeah, so I think we are on an amazing journey. I think we are just year 6 into it. It's a pretty long journey, I think. For us, the next big milestone is, how do we take what we've built across the 12 countries and go global? So we are really making plans for that. At the same time, across the full funnel of our services, there are certain capabilities that we should plug in. How do we kind of complete that, either through inorganic or organic means? So there is a big focus there. We're blessed to have some amazing set of shareholders from Axiata, SoftBank, Sumitomo Mitsui. How do we leverage more of these shareholders, their market presence? For example, we're quite nascent in Japan. We want to go deeper into Japan market. So that's a focus area for us. But ultimately, what we want to be is what we term is a Proficon. It is $1 billion business and continuous path to profitability through that business. So not just a unicorn, I think even more rarer is something called a Proficon. And that's our real stated ambition as a next milestone of our journey.
And what does all of this mean for Sri Lanka and Sri Lankan operations?
For Sri Lanka, continues to be an extremely promising market for us. We started off saying we want to disrupt and create digital business and value from digital. We continue to scale that, bring the best of innovation out there into Sri Lanka with data, AI, and digital, all three combined. So Sri Lanka grows as we grow.
Excellent. Srinivas, thank you for your time.
Cool. Thank you. It was a pleasure.